Hey everybody, Cooper here from etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Transfer on our 2021 Ford Ranger. The Transfer is a really cool and unique bike rack that has some really nice features that we're going to be able to get into, but first let's talk about what bikes can we carry with it. Well, our two main points of contact are going to be our front wheel hook and a strap on our rear wheel, meaning that our carbon frame bikes as well as the alternative frame bikes are going to be an option and available for this rack. Unfortunately, we do have a weight capacity of 40 pounds per bike, so our heavier bikes and our electric bikes are not going to be an option for this rack, unfortunately. The Transfer does come with a tilt-away feature, and I think that the unique U-shape of the Transfer is a really cool thing about it. Essentially, instead of having a hand pedal at the end here, we actually have a foot pedal all the way towards the back, and if you don't have all three bikes loaded, you can essentially kind of step into the bike frame, and which makes it a lot easier to push on the pedal and lower our bike rack. Now, unfortunately, the tilt is not aggressive enough for us to have full access into the tailgate of our Ranger, but if you have your shoes or your helmet back here, you can stand in this space just a little bit easier because of that tilt-away feature. So it still does have some benefit to having it. In order to get it back up in that seated position, we just kind of grab the lift and we just take it back up. No reason to re-engage that pedal. And for the same reason it makes it easier to push the pedal, unloading the bike is actually a lot easier. So when you have that final and last bike, you don't have to kind of reach all the way over your rack. You can step into this space essentially. First step, we're going to undo our back wheel strap here. Feed that up. And then I do like to tuck it in on itself so that way it doesn't get caught in anything while we try to unload our bike. The buttons on here can be a little rough sometimes, so just be wary of that. But once you have that hook out of the way, you can grab your bike and you're ready to hit the trails. Looking in at our front wheel chock, we actually have some nice grooves that help settle our bike tires into it. We can accommodate up to a maximum width of 3 inches for our tire width. So if you have that really tiny skinny bike or a bigger sized tire bike, it does sit in this cradle pretty nicely and just does help secure it, which is another feature I really like about it. Once you have all your bikes off, you can go ahead and put everything back in. Something I like to do if there are no bikes on is to take our hooks at their highest extension point and actually feed them down under our back cradle. Because if you're going to put this up in its more compact position, nothing keeps these hooks locked into a certain place. They are pretty sturdy and it takes some force to move them, but you don't want to break and accidentally have one of those hooks make contact against your tailgate. I don't think it would be hard enough to cause any serious damage, but if there's something we can do to avoid something like that, I think it's a pretty good step to take. Now, anytime we add something into the hitch of our vehicle, we are going to be adding on length. So let's talk about that. By putting our tape measure on our bumper and measuring out, we can see that we are adding on about 48 inches or 4 feet to the back of our vehicle, which is a lot of space, honestly. And that's honestly how far some Ford bike racks stick out. So if you find yourself driving down the highway or, trying to fit into a tight space, is there enough room for your vehicle plus those 4 feet on the back? Definitely something you want to be aware of. Thankfully, this does go up into a more seated or compact position. And in this position, we're only adding on about 14 inches to the back of our vehicle. So definitely a lot more room, especially if you're trying to fit this in your garage for your vehicle, plus only 14 inches of space on the back. With it up in the seated position though, we are still going to be able to use our backup camera, thankfully, but with the posts and some of the poles that our bike rack has, there might be some obstruction points, so do just be careful if you find yourself using it to try to find, go into a tight space or anything. There might be somebody hiding directly behind this pole. With that in mind as well, when I was sitting up in the front seat of our Ranger, I could see probably about the top third of this bike rack above our tailgate. So again, do just be careful when you're driving that somebody might be in one of those areas that you might not be able to see. With it up here, we can actually take a look down at our hitch as well and see that we do have a 2-inch hitch that's spinning inside our 2-inch receiver, kind of a standard pin and clip here for that, and our anti-rattle device here at the end does need a included tool that is specialized to help tighten it down for the anti-rattle, which really just helps take out a lot of the side-to-side and up-to-down motion so it's not as rattly while you're driving. For as nice as a brand as Kuat is, I wish that it might have been a tool-free install or come with some sort of lock core on for your bike rack. So that is one of the downsides in my opinion, but overall I do think it's a very nice bike rack. If I could recommend looking into something else, Kuat does have a series of tailgate pads called the Huck. They do come in different sizes. There is a full-size one that can actually carry up to 5 bikes, and a half-pad version which does carry up to 2. With that half-pad version, you still do have access to your backup camera, which is a really nice feature in case that's something you really want to look for. So that way you are in a very unique situation with our Ranger, where if you don't have room for this to store it off of your vehicle, or don't want to add on up to 4 feet on the back of your vehicle just to carry around some bikes, I do think that the Kuat Huck series would be something worth looking into. But if you like everything that you saw here today, we did just take a look at the Kuat Transfer on our 2021 Ford Ranger. My name's Cooper, and thanks for watching.